Hey guys, it's me, John Anthony Chihawk Soltero. I am the anti-hero, and I am here today with another comic book slash toy haul. There's one toy, um, but picked up some comics in the last couple of weeks. Haven't really done a haul. I think the last haul that I posted was actually from several weeks ago, um, but got some new stuff and from a couple of shows with Lady T Comic Keys. I just got back from Bookman's. And then I got a box over here that has some stuff that I may or may not show other than the toys. So I will pull that out. So this I got was it 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago from Rick Funk and Collectors Haven. They're here in Arizona. They're part of the Comic Book Shopping Network. This is a first appearance Nightwing figure. This is what the Grayson's Dogwing costume is based on in the Baba Patrol. So this is one of the few Nightwing figures that I do not have. I think there's one more. I have one from Nightfall, but I don't know if the Nightfall one, I think he has the big ponytail mullet. I'm pretty sure I have that one. I think this is the one that I was missing that I had been looking for a while. So I'm super glad to have gotten this one. Rick shipped it, because of the post office, because of their shortness with employees and everything that's happening. It took a while to get here from another spot in Arizona, but I mean, it arrived. It looks great. I'm probably going to take it out of the box and have it somewhere on my desk or something like that, or part of my display from non-con maybe. Maybe I'll do that for the next show. That might be nice. Anyways, so these are some of the books that I picked up today. Oh, I didn't realize how damaged this was. Oh, well. Guess they can't all be winners. This is why you got to pay attention to stuff, kids. Booster Gold number 6. I'm a big Booster Gold fan. Batgirl from New 52, number 4. This is an Adam Hughes cover, although for some strange reason there's not the classic SIG anywhere on here. For whatever weird reason, this has come back into my life, and there's another one that came in, but I got Marvel vs. DC number 2. I remember when this occurred, and I purchased, or I was given the little voting tickets, and just the fun of being able to vote on, who's going to win in a battle between who and who. And it's just, it was just a really, really interesting one. I mean, this is like total 90s Thor with like the bare midriff and the weird costume. This was like more Professor Hulk because he has the different haircut. It's the Ben Reilly Spider-Man. This wasn't even the Peter Parker Spider-Man, so I'm sure people were like really upset about that. They were like, oh, well, if it was Peter Parker, he would have wiped the floor with, Superboy. And it's just like, well, he's got the same abilities. And if you discount the science background, like, I mean, it was Tim Drake Robin. It wasn't even like Dick Grayson Robin. I don't even know if Nightwing shows up anywhere in this series, but like it'd be really interesting. But you also got the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. And that, yeah, this is the Superboy right there where they're facing off, which is really, really funny. And you'll see why in a second. I also got this cool Secret Origins starring Blue Beetle. This is issue 2, but like the colors on this cover are great. This is from 86, but like it's super bright and vibrant and just kind of neat because it has more of that like classic sort of Silver Age feel. I know it's a modern book, but it still has that like more Silver Age feel to it because of the stylings. My friends at Lady T's Comic Keys, Morris and Tiffany, are really, really cool people, and they went to a toy show. They tabled at a toy show, and they bought like a small box of comics from somebody, and this happened to be in it, and they know that I do sketch covers and stuff, and they were like, even though we know that the book itself, it has some monetary value. They were like, you know, we want you to be able to draw a sketch cover and you know, maybe make some money off of it. So that's really awesome. Thank you guys for that gift. I've been actually needing some more Spider-Man covers just because I'm getting into drawing like the different Spider-Verse characters, and I've got like one or two villains and in mind that I would really like to do, and I think my styling might work pretty well. So from the last couple of weeks from Lady T Comic Keys, I got Kim and Kim #1. Marvel Team Up Spider-Man and Hawkeye #92. It's a great cover. X Factor #88, the first random. I remember this book. And, you know, turns out that this is, spoiler alert, this guy right here with the gun arm, he's a kid. He's not this big tough guy. He's a polymorph or a metamorph or whatever. And then Thing 2-in-1 #42 with Captain America, which is cool. These are like, this is a 35 center, so this is kind of like a Bronze Ager, August 78. I don't know if that comes more into the, yeah, it's probably more of the Copper Age, but just like the newsprint, just like, I love that smell. And that's one of the cool things about doing the Bubba Patrols. I get to do them on newsprint as well. Berserker #1. It's just kind of a crazy all over cover. You see the Berserker characters just ripping this other dude apart, like just like nothing. Law Dogs, Heavy Hitters Law Dog. And this is like super 90s, just because you'll see with the artwork, he's the interdimensional highway patrolman. I mean, this screams 90s, but at the same time, it's embossed. So like the line work and stuff like that pops up on like her leg, and the bullet and the gun and him himself, like definitely very 90s. The only thing that's missing is like foil. Justice League. It's #140. Yeah, Justice League #140. Giant. It's a giant size. And then the funny thing about that, the Marvel versus DC is this. I don't know why I love this costume, but this costume is also very, very dated and 90s, but I'd really like it if they brought it back and he wasn't just wearing like the black shirt with the blue jeans. Like, don't get me wrong, I like that costume too because it's just very simple, but I mean, there's something iconic about how very 90s this is. The leather jacket, like, why does he have a belt on his calf or on his thigh? Why? That makes zero sense, but it's so much fun because it's 90s, but it's not insane 90s. And then, why is his finger smoking? Think about it. If he carved all that in here with his finger, wouldn't this be smoking? Because as Superboy, he's pretty much nigh invulnerable, you know? So bullets are bouncing off of him. You can blast him with heat. It's not going to make a difference. Maybe the glove would be smoking. If the glove is not made out of some sort of like unstable molecules like the Fantastic Four costumes so that they adapt with their powers. At the very, very least, the glove would be completely worn off from him doing this. Now the question is, why are the words just carved down into the concrete and then the symbol itself is carved all the way down to the brick? Just a thought. And these bricks are way different colors. That's a coloring continuity error. But like, if you're thinking about logic and physics and stuff like that. And I like to think about superheroes with regard to physics, because it's just a lot of fun, you know. This one's pretty cool. Harbinger, this is 13, I believe, right? Yeah, this is the Dark Knight 1 homage cover. This is the first solo story of Zephyr, Faith Herbert. And so this is the first time she has her own solo story in Harbinger in the Valiant universe. The interesting thing is that like this is a really, really well done homage. The other Dark Knight homage that I really like is the Batman sitting on the power line. I always thought it was a power line, but it's probably the cable, like his grappling hook cable, because that makes more sense. Like, why would he be sitting on a power line? Like, the power line would not support a man who, Dark Knight Batman, no doubt weighs like 220, 225, to maybe even more. He was really big and bulky, but that's like one of those things. Anyways, also in conjunction with Spider-Man and Superboy, completing the 4-issue run, number 3, Marvel versus DC. This is the one, I believe, where all the really, really big fights happen, including the ones on the cover. And this is the one with Lobo versus Wolverine, where back in the day I was just like, oh yeah, Wolverine would win. And I really like Wolverine a lot more than I like Lobo. But I mean, come on, man. Lobo's a Zarnian. He could drop a planet on somebody. Like, he can go toe-to-toe with Wonder Woman and Superman. There's no way Wolverine would pose a threat to him. He would basically just like, he could probably just grab him around the throat and choke him out until he's unconscious and shove him underwater, you know. And for a science experiment, he killed everybody on his planet for was it science fair at school. That, and he's a sociopath too. But Purgatory, Dracula Gambit, number 1. It's kind of cool artwork, very minimalist artwork. I mean, there's not a ton to it, but it's got more of that painted kind of classic, more Frazetta cover where you have, you know, there's no hard lines on it whatsoever. So it's really kind of neat. And I don't know. I just kind of dug it. I'm trying to get back into some of the older Chaos stuff. And then this one is the crown jewel of what I've picked up. And this one I picked up 2 or 3 weeks ago. And this is, it's a reader copy, which is fine. Justice League of America, number 29. First Crime Syndicate. For those of you who maybe grew up reading stuff like this or are more versed in it, my first exposure to the Crime Syndicate of America was from the Justice League cartoon. And they weren't even, yeah, were they the Crime Syndicate? Crime Syndicate, or the Justice Lords. The Justice Lords. And they were the ones who had taken over and were like, you know what? Flash died. Luthor killed Flash. So, you know, we're going to become a totalitarian government or totalitarian leaders. And we're just not going to let stuff happen. And they allowed that to corrupt them. And when you think about it from that, they're not the Crime Syndicate. They didn't start out as bad guys. Like think about how poignant this is. And this is a 12 center, so this is like the 60s. It's poignant because that level of power corrupts. But also what do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Like, the intentions are to make sure that people stop harming each other. And we just got carried away and we took it too far. And, you know, the only way to make sure people don't hurt each other is to completely control all of their actions. But it's really cool to have this. So I am going to start working on like revamping my non-con. Sales haven't been great. I did talk to Morris and Tiffany of Lady T Comic Keys, and I have some regular customers who stop by pretty much every week and purchase stuff. And, you know, they're saying, like, you have good stuff. It's that your viewership is not where it needs to be. And if I could get 5 or 10 more viewers, maybe they're just going to look at stuff at first, but you get 5 or 10 more viewers and 1 or 2 of those people buy, then that makes a difference. And so Morris gave me some tips, and this is what I love about overall about the community. There are some individuals in the community who are, I don't want to say selfish, but there are individuals in the community, whether they are creators, whether they are retailers, or whether they are collectors, and they do not share information. They won't tell you where they got a deal on something. They won't tell you to drop their name somewhere. They won't even look, like if they know you're looking out for something, they may buy it and then sell it to you at a higher price. I get it. It's a business. It's, right, especially right now, times are tough, but like this is something that's been going on for years. And I don't want to, like myself, I don't want to be that way. So I've been attempting to, like, if I know somebody has something cheaper and somebody's like, well, that price is kind of high for that book. And I'm like, check out my buddy's show. Like, I know he's got that book and I'm pretty sure he's got it cheaper. Plus he's going to discount it on top of that. So there you go. Not only that, but when printing the Bubba Patrol and getting it on the newsprint, and people saw the book was printed on newsprint, or I said it's printed on newsprint, there were people asking me, like, how did you get it printed on newsprint? I was just like, okay, here's the website you go to. This is through another comic book company, but they have their own partnership with this printing press. If you want to print it on newsprint, this is the route to go. You got to commit to a certain amount of issues, a certain number of copies, but your unit price is going to be super low, which means you can keep your cover price super low. And hopefully that means you get more buyers. But I like to try to, and I used to be very, very, for me, I can say it. I used to be very selfish and I used to be very closed off. And if like I knew something, I wouldn't necessarily share it with somebody else. But this is a community that I want to see grow and I want to see prosper, whether you're a retailer, whether you're a collector, whether you're a creator. If there is some information that I have that might be able to help you, sweet, ask me. If I know that information, I will tell you. Because here's the thing, like with other creators don't want to tell you their techniques. They don't want to tell you the types of tools they use. They don't want to tell you the programs they use. They don't want to tell you the kind of tablet they use. They don't even want to tell you the kind of paper they use, who they go to for printing. And I get it. It reminds me a lot of professional wrestling in the 70s and 80s and even into the 90s, is people trying to keep their spot, whatever they had. Well, here's the thing, competition is good. And competition causes that person to step up their game, which causes you to step up your game. And look, we all know if you're a gamer and you're into sports, EA Sports has the rights to the NFL. And Madden football, like a lot of Madden football players are frustrated year after year after year because Madden football doesn't really do anything innovative each year because they don't have to. They have the sole license to the NFL. They can do whatever they want. They can add as much or as little as roster changes. And it's just like, we didn't do anything else dynamic with this because we know you're going to pay $70 for the game next year. Because that's just the way it is. If I give you tools to be able to do something, and you can create better artwork, or you can create a better retailer show based on my feedback. Not like I'm a great retailer. I'm not selling comics hand over fist. But if I can give you some sort of information that helps you with that, or helps you find that book you've been looking for, that's phenomenal. And you should want to do that. Why? Because if I show you the tools that I've used for something and you step up your game, you're still not creating what I'm creating. You're not using my same art style. I should want you to get better, right? So I should give you an honest critique, or I should give you information that will help you be better at what you're doing. So if you have questions about anything, if you're a collector, a creator, if you are a retailer, like I said, it's not like there's no secret to retailing. But if something I do on my show is something that is helpful to you, or you want to critique and you want me to watch your show or something like that, because I can watch it from a retailer perspective and I can watch it from a customer perspective. I also took classes in presentation, public speaking. I took classes in graphic design, illustration, which I'm going to start using because Morris and Lady T were like, I build an ad and then I just spam it across all these different comic book groups on Facebook. And not really spamming, but you're posting it and saying, hey, tune into my show on this day at this time. And the more you do that, the more viewers potentially you're going to get. So he's helping me, or they're helping me figure out ways to improve my show. And in turn, maybe that can help somebody improve their show or their collecting or what have you. So if you're looking for anything, even if you're looking for original art and you don't want it from me, I know a lot of independent creators who would love to get commissions. Right now is very hard on people, and even people whose livelihoods haven't really changed all that much because of the pandemic. They would still love to get commissions. They would still love to sell their original works. They would still love to sell their prints and their craftsmanship and their posters and their comic books. So if you've got any questions about any aspect of that, please feel free to ask me. I am more than willing to share any sort of knowledge that I have at this point in time. And please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, wear your masks, wash your hands, and remember, we are all one, and we can help each other while still taking care of ourselves. You guys have a good week.